Beautiful ocean. Oh, greetings to all. Another day. Beautiful day. I mean, nice, cool. Atmosphere is, relaxing. It just forces you to relax. Forces me, I should rather say. But also, as so often I repeated this, that even what we call Eden, it wasn't just Adam and Eve, meaning it wasn't just the people. Some people want to believe it was one man named Adam and one woman named Eve, but we have to learn what people call history, archaeology, and all that, find out what words mean, and when we go back, how it changes, how words change as in the process of time. Descriptions, I should say, not words, descriptions. Today, the Eve means beginning, you know. And I remember a long time ago, Eve means getting close to night, just before night. When I was growing up as a kid, that's around Barbados, people use that word Eve, meaning it's getting close to night. So we have to study. One of the things we have to study is history. Part of history is archaeology. Part of history is geography. Part of history is learning about plants. Part of history is learning about people. And this history, we look at history and say, oh, it's about countries, and it is tied into so much. Anyway, part of that history is what I used to call, or what I've called before in these videos, the rivers that flow. And not only water rivers, they are airflow rivers. There are rivers in space where energy flows from one planet, one solar system, one sun to another. It's like a network of the nerves in our body that spread out through the universe, or what we want to call the universe. It's a network, like a nervous system. The same thing here on Earth. Not just the water, but there, if you look at the patterns of migration, you'll see that it looks like rivers. And that's one of the things that I began seeing these videos appearing on YouTube about this president from Tunisia who A lot of people are dragging him about him saying that sub-Saharan Africa means black people, the black-skinned people are going to take over or trying to take over his country by demographics. A few months ago, somebody in Morocco authorized 100+ black-skinned Africans to be murdered. Here in Algeria the other day, 200 or so, you know. All of these countries across Africa, North Africa, has one commonality. Well, I should say, yeah, one commonality, but it's in its division. One commonality is they're dealing with the people that they now call in sub-Saharan Africa. And that word sub-Sahara coined by the European. And now these people in North Africa are joining on to the European with their bull doodoo, thinking that North Africa is not Africa, and it is not the owned by black people. And see, this history goes back a little while, when the first thing that happened was the Romans. But not only the Romans, the people there were mixing with the people across the Mediterranean for years and years and years. There were wars across the Mediterranean. Africans crossed over and conquered there, and sometimes they come over from Turkey and Greece, and you know. But after the Romans, it was like kind of they remained. They didn't get pushed out and then come back and pushed out and come. They remained after the Romans. Islam came along and Arabic began to be spoken there. And hence the colonialism of the Arabs began. And black Africans, including the Tuaregs who used to rule that area, that were converted to Muslim religion, they helped the Arabs to conquer Spain and, you know, the northern area. And they helped the Arabs to conquer West Africa, all the way down to Nigeria and parts of Ghana and so forth. The Africans went over, helped Islam conquer Europe. But then when the Europeans got help to overthrow Islam, again you have this wave of Europeans coming back into Africa. And that followed by the Crusades, and then the Spanish and French taking over North Africa. And hence, people like this president of Tunisia thinking that North Africa no longer belonged to the black Africans. It belonged to his that he now is the owner of North Africa, and there's a fear you see, of Africa reclaiming what is ours. Africans reclaiming what is ours. The European are afraid of this demographic too. So he's just repeating what they are saying. He's just mouthing their words. But his ancestors are from there. His ancestry is cave dwellings. Let me not go there. His ancestry is from Europe. And now he is afraid because Africa is writing. Because the people who they call sub are now beginning to move. He is looking to see Nigeria is rising up, Ghana rising up. All of West Africa is agitating for improvement. All of East Africa is moving. And just like how Egypt tried to suppress Ethiopia from beginning to use its own resources, he now is doing the same thing. Not only him, but Morocco, Algeria, Libya. Libya has turned into a different place to when Muammar was president. Different place. The Arab speakers, on one hand, are trying to recolonize Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. You see so many Arab schools being opened up around, I'm going to use this word, sub-Saharan Africa, because that's what everybody knows it as. And now some Africans are beginning to call themselves the Global South. I don't know why. But anyway, they are recolonization. They're opening schools here, but they're not teaching the local language. They're teaching Arabic. And one of the things about colonization is the language. Study history, archaeology, like I said from the beginning. The language. The British came in, they taught their, whoever they conquered, English. The French. You go places in Africa today and the poor people there can't speak anything but French. Their local language is gone. And the funny thing is, you don't hear African leaders talk about these things. Africans being killed. This president, you know, people start dragging the African Union. Hey, why aren't you guys saying anything about this foolishness? And they reluctantly came out, put out this I guess about 5 or 6 lines of coded language saying how disrespectful it was to Africans and all that. But from the day that it happened, all the African leaders, silent. Every one of them. They didn't say anything about the murders in Morocco or Algeria. They don't say anything about what happens to black people get thrown out of windows in Lebanon. They get traded on Apple apps throughout the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. But because of a few dollars that these people giving to the leaders, there's a silence of about black lives. North Africa is Africa. It belongs to black Africans. Yes, you can live among us in peace. But that foolishness, that talk about your demographic, get rid of it. Get rid of it. You see what happens to the European now. There was a time when the African was saying, you know what, we don't mind, you know, please be peaceful. Come and live with us, share. As I was saying, there was a day when Africans were saying to Europe, come and invest in Africa. And I've made videos about that. One of my last ones I made is about the president of Ghana doing that. Come invest in Ghana. Come invest in Africa. And the last 6 months or so has seen a dramatic turn. Now, going to our own, saying, hey, Africans, we know you have the money to do it. Africans in the diaspora, we know you have the money to do it. Come and invest in us. Not us, Africa, and you, investor, but you and us, you and I, as African, invest in our land. This colonizer, or those colonizers, whether it be the people of Morocco, the people of Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, they are all family of the colonizer. And they're seeing this rapid development and are turning away from their supporters. And there's a fear. He used the correct word, demographics. He used the correct word now. Don't let, that's why there's a thing in Africa about learning history. Very few Africans know history or taught what, I would say no, but was taught it in school. And how valuable it is. And what it means. History is not just what happened in the past, but what about to happen in the future. And you'll see those same people that were put on the slave ship, their children are now coming home to rebuild. Isn't that funny? Remember that my videos about the river, how it flowed the people? The river flowing? You gotta be careful now. I'm telling my brothers in Africa, brothers, be careful. Be careful, because the river flows back. And when that river flows back, you want some place for the river to flow without being obstructed, because you put dams in the way. When the dams break, guess what's going to happen? And the dams will break. So instead of building dams, you build a path where your brothers can come back. Like so many people are saying now, Afro brothers, come home. You know, one of the songs I liked too, from the time I heard it, was Bunny Wailer. That brother, between him, Bob, Peter, one group now, one group of people, 4 men, having so much effect on the planet. It put reggae everywhere, not just reggae. But people didn't realize that that reggae chant is war. And the prophet told you that. Bob told you this music, oh shoot. Bob told you about the music. When it hit, he said, when it hit Babylon, it's nowhere for them to run. Oh boy, that's why I'm not gonna go into that one. But brother died young. Not just died. People realized what reggae was about to do. So they turned it into something called dancehall, where you go and whine, forget about, try to make you forget that this is a war. Anyway, back to Africa now. Well, it's not back to Africa, this is all about Africa. It's always all about Africa. This colonizer is seeing his brothers north of the Mediterranean, what's happening to them, and he's getting worried. And his words were just spoken out loud, just like the man from the EU, the EU ambassador, who's like, we have to go to the jungle. They have to, because look what's happened to the place where they are. They destroyed that place. Now they're coming here, or want to come here, to Africa. They sounding the alarm. They are sounding the alarm, and Africans are picking up that, you know, these people are really wicked. And they have no depth to their wickedness. So, Africans and African leaders do not allow these people to shame and embarrass our people. Every African leader should be on his behind and look, if you don't like Africa, you're free to leave. We didn't invite you here. Your people can leave. Either you live among us peacefully and keep your mouth shut with your racist, wicked attitude, or you go back to where your ancestors came from. Put an end to that quickly. Don't let it get a foothold on Africa. Hope you're enjoying the day wherever you are. Peace.